Hey guys, and welcome to episode 10 of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the expansion DuPage Pistol Shrimp. We are at the end of season 4. Season 4? Yeah, we're at the end of season 4. And as you can see, we had a 29 game improvement over last season, an unexpected 104 and 58 finish. We made it to Game 7 of the World Series. We were up 3-1 against San Diego Padres and lost 3 straight games to drop that World Series. And we have a very interesting off season ahead of us. We've got some difficult decisions to make, and we'll have to see how it goes. So if we start with salary arbitration, we can see we got some big names up for us: Braxton Garrett, Lewin Diaz, Marshall Kozlowski, just some of the names that are eligible for arbitration. Alex Verdugo is a pending free agent, and he had just an absolutely huge season a year ago. 39 home runs, 119 RBIs, a 5 WAR season. He doesn't want a ton of money. I mean, he wants a lot, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't, I was thinking he was going to be upwards of 30 million, but even this is more than I can afford at the moment. So we might have to let him go to free agency and see if we can potentially get a bargain. So let's take a look at some of our arbitration offers. We'll start with Braxton Garrett. He wants, what did he want? 5.7? 5.775. So if I offer him 5.5, probably take that. He will. And again, I've said this over and over again, but I do this because it helps me get those fan interest bumps, which are always important when you're unsure of how your team's going to do. You get those bumps, which give you a little bit more wiggle room. Brett Conine wants 2, so we'll give him 2-1. And again, part of the reason I'm doing this is because I'm looking to save every penny I can save, because I need to, we're not a big market team. We don't have a ton of money. Brian Garcia wants 1.3. That's fair. Offer him what we can offer him. He wants under a million, so we're just going to leave it at that. Same with Ali Sanchez. Lewin Diaz only wants 1.9. Absolutely. 30 home runs, even though he was only a 1 WAR player. He 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. Could bounce back nicely. I mean, we talked about Diaz a little bit last episode, but he struggled last season. But 3 straight years of 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, that's something that you need to hang on to. Roydas Nova, I think, played himself into a new contract. Can't have all-stars at every position, so now we're starting. No, Kozlowski, we definitely. He wants 3.6. Save a couple $100,000 there. So maybe not. 50,000? Sure. All right. So now we get into a couple of interesting options. Mountcastle had he came on towards the end of the year last year, put up an 817 OPS. Still very, very good against lefties. I think maybe we re-sign him and see if there's I would have to think that this is tradable. Same with Khalil Lee. If we can't bring back Verdugo, it's probably in our best interest to bring back Lee. He only wants 2.6. So let's offer him 2.5. And if there's a better option in free agency, move both of these guys. So I think we're probably okay to. He's probably not going to take that. Take that. So we've made all of our arbitration offers. Verdugo is probably on his way out. Our owner wants us to re-sign Marquez, but he was so bad for us last year. I don't know. Let's see what he wants in free agency, and then maybe we can make a run at him. Um, Financially, we're okay. We've got $23 million for free agents, 14 for extensions. If we look at some of our salaries, uh, the one that stands out is Pablo Lopez. His salary wasn't bad this year at 6.7, but that extension kicks in next year at 11 a year, and I don't know if he was good enough to justify $11 million a year. See, I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was good enough. I don't know if those numbers justify 11 million a year. So we may want to look to move Lopez and see if we can get younger, or if not younger, get better for the same price. So let's just quickly skip ahead. Okay? Now, just take a look. We want to get younger or better. So let's stick with prospects and regulars and see what it looks like. I have a feeling that if I wait, that once we hit free agency, the offers won't be quite as good. Wow. Okay. There's some names on here. Ian Anderson's younger and arguably better, even if his numbers are actually a little bit better as well. We could do that, or we could go after somebody like Alec Thomas as a potential replacement for Verdugo. He was a 4.7. He was almost a 5-win player last year, and he's only 24. Arbitration eligible, so obviously that he's going to be asking for a little more money, but he stole 40 bases. He was really good. He fits right into our lineup, kind of the way that we want. Maybe I could come up with some sort of package with Arizona for Thomas and pitcher. Not be a bad deal for us. The Albies, we don't need a second baseman. Catcher and second base are the two positions we are pretty well set at. Austin in May. Really good. Yeah, he's really good. Oh, his contract gets expensive though, and he's only 20, and he's 27. So next year we have the same problem with May that we have with Lopez this year. Jordan Adams, still on the league minimum. Not quite as good as Alec Thomas. I think I'm liking that Arizona deal, messing around with the Diamondbacks and seeing what I can come up with there, unless there's another option. Michael Baez is always a good option. Got 4 good pitches, great stuff, cheap. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess around with the Diamondbacks for a bit, see if I can come up with something there. When I come back, it'll be free agency. Because like I said, I think I have to make this deal prior to free agency, because once that happens and Lopez's contract kicks up to that $11 million, I think it's going to be a problem. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mess around with the Diamondbacks, see what I can come up with there. When we come back, it'll be free agency, and we'll go over what was done. So hang tight. All right. It is free agency time. And before we jump to that, let's take a look at some of the stats. We won our first pitcher of the year. Marshall Kozowski won the reliever of the year, 9-4, 2.01 ERA, 37 saves. Good for him. Do you have any Platinum Stick Award winners? Not a surprise. We did also win the American League Manager of the Year this season. Forrest Gump, that award. We made it to the World Series unexpectedly. Shohei Ohtani wins the Cy Young. Yoan Moncada wins the MVP award. 330, 44 home runs, 104 runs knocked in over teammate Joey Gallo, who hit 70 home runs for a second consecutive season. And as per usual, Cody Bellinger wins the MVP award in the National League. So, yeah, Alex Verdugo filed for free agency. So, if he signs with somebody, we will get a draft pick. We did pull the trigger on a deal with Arizona. Go to logs, transaction log. What month are we in? November? So we sent Pablo Lopez and Ryan Mountcastle to the Arizona Diamondbacks, getting Alek Thomas and Emilio Vargas. So we know what we're getting with Lopez and Mountcastle. Lopez has been okay. I mean, he's just been okay. But he was going to start getting $11 million a year, and I have to be fiscally responsible, and I just didn't think that what he was giving us was worth what we were paying him. He was durable. The two very durable years for us. Pitched almost 200 innings both seasons. Was a 4-win player 2 years ago. Just over 2.5 WAR player a year ago. We also sent Ryan Mountcastle, who again we had talked about. Financially, he was asking for. He's asking for $3 million. Wasn't it's not a ton, but just okay. I mean, his first year with us, he was below average. This year, he was, just above average, and he didn't play badly. But I like the return. And in the return, we'll start with Emilio Vargas. Vargas, 28-year-old, arbitration. He's going to make about 5.2, 5.3 this year. But you can see numbers better than Lopez a year ago. 32 games, 198 innings, struck out 172, was good for 3.5 WAR. 4 really good pitches. He is 28, so I don't know how much more development we're going to get. But even at 56, 60, 55, I will take it. We'll slide him into the middle of the rotation. You can see he was a 16-game winner a couple years ago. So all in all, I think the downgrade from Lopez will be minimal, if at all. And then we pick up Alek Thomas as well. We already looked at his numbers, but you can see our scout likes him even more now that he's had an opportunity to look at him. The only thing he doesn't do as well as Verdugo is the power. He won't hit as many home runs, but the average should be there. He's a better fielder, and he's a significantly better base runner. So I think ultimately we come out ahead. And we also immediately signed him to a 5-year, $51 million contract. So we're going to get Alek Thomas for about half of what we would have paid Verdugo, and we'll probably get 90% of the output. So I think from our end, I think that's probably the right move to make. So let's go ahead and sim ahead a day so we can see the actual free agents. All right, so let's take a look at the international free agents, see if there's anything of note there. 21-year-old. It's just a relief. At a third pitch, maybe. And as usual, national free agents are poor. Wow, there's some talent here. Fernando Tatis Jr. is a free agent. San Diego allowed him to make it to free agency, huh? Miguel Andujar might be a nice get at third base for us. Um, yeah, we'll just have to see what these guys are asking for and whether or not they will require compensation. We've got $29 million. Are going to start to get a little uncomfortable next season. At a point where we can, got to be at a point where we can start to raise our ticket prices, right? Yeah, I mean, the other expansion team is, let's go ahead and bump ticket prices. See what we do with that. We got to try to make some money a little bit. Again, because we don't have control over this other stuff. We don't have control over our financials. Our owner is controlling this stuff. He's dumping $22 million into the draft when it's only recommended that we spend 5. So, and while I don't hate the $36 million player development budget, it's limiting what we can do in free agency, and that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. We'll make do. So if we look at our lineup, our updated lineup, so we're gonna have Alec Thomas. So basically, we need a. Well, I mean, do we really need a designated hitter? Can Tisa Ornelas fill that role? I definitely think he can fill that role against righties. Freudis Nova at third base. He was okay, and again, you're not going to have superstars at every position. So I would say we need another bat. Yeah, we definitely need another bat. I think our infield is fine. Rocio can back up all 3 infield positions. So another bat, backup corner infielder, so backup first baseman. And then pitching wise, I don't think we need a whole lot. I think I'm pretty happy with my pitching staff. We're gonna call up our our second first round pick from 2022, Sean Cervantes. He'll be called up and put into the lineup this year. You can see he looks to be really, really good. So we'll move him in. Vargas, Garrett, Baz, Lucchesi, and Cervantes as our starters. We've got Henkes and Wentz there in case we need someone to step in if one of those guys is struggling. We're strong at the back of our rotation with Kozowski and Yap. So I think we're pretty good pitching wise, unless there's somebody out there that's just going to come super cheap for some reason. So let's take a look at what we've got. Oh, Anthony Rizzo is available. He might fit in nicely. He's a good first baseman, so we could sign him at first base and move Diaz to DH potentially. All right. So let's, first things first. A lot of pitchers that aren't. It's 23. So I think we're out of the bidding there. Oh, this is all pitchers. No wonder. So if we look at all batters, yeah, the top 7 are all comp guys. Tatis, Mejia, Story, Verdugo, Andujar, Bell, Calhoun. Is a comp guy as well. Spent the last 3 years in Milwaukee. Had 3 really solid. No, I guess he was okay. Had good power, good on base. I mean, that's what you're going to get out of Rizzo. Good power, good on base percentage. His average was a little light, but we could just go all in with Miguel Sano and Andrelton Simmons. And his offense has just gotten really bad. It's too bad. Jose Abreu is a cheap option. Uh, There are definitely some options here. Aaron Buxton's an elite center fielder. He can only play center. If he could have played left and right, he could have been our backup outfielder, and we could have just moved Ornelas into the lineup. Signed Candelario. Jonas Cespedes coming back from Japan. Hit 30 home runs a year ago. Anthony Garcia, is this the Yankee guy? I think we take a shot at him because he's only 24. Switch hitter. Good power against righties. He's not quite as good against lefties. I don't know. He's not bad, but he's not going to start over any of our other players. Goldschmidt. Running out of time. But his numbers were still okay last year. 752 OPS, but he had 2 really bad seasons before that, so I think he probably cooked. Jalen Mayhew. Still a good contact guy. Not going to produce a ton of power anymore, but 748 OPS last year with the Red Sox. Only asking for 1.6. Santander's got a bit of bat, doesn't he? Yeah, I mean, he had 46 home runs last year. Asking for 11 million. That's more than I spend. All right. So we know what we're looking for. We're looking for another bat, and we are looking for a backup corner infielder. So I'm gonna plug away and see what I can find in those two options. And when we come back, it'll be Rule 5 time, and we'll see what we can do. So hang tight. We will be back in a minute. All right, it is Rule 5 draft time. Before we take a look at that, let's look at moves that we have made. I think we only locked down one. Yeah, we did end up signing Anthony Garcia. I just felt he was so young, only 24 years old. That there's still room to grow there. And if there's not, we only are out 1.3 million. So we made the move there. I think that was the only thing we've done so far. Yeah. We have a couple of other deals out there, and you may have seen them before I moved away, but one of them was JD Martinez, 1 year, $3 million deal. He would be exclusively a DH, but the numbers are still, the ratings are still solid, if not his overall stats. The ratings are still solid. If you look at his, especially against lefties, he's really, really good. Not quite as good against righties, but really, really good against lefties. So he could be our DH slash first bat off the bench. And then Wilmer Flores, we made a move on, $1.6 million, primarily to be a backup first baseman slash, pinch hitter type. So professional hitter, as they say. A couple years ago was pretty good for the Dodgers. Not so good last year, but, whatever. We don't have a ton of money to deal with, so we are, although our money for extensions have gone up, we must be doing really well ticket-wise. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's going to be huge for our profit going forward. So let's really quickly make sure there's nobody here that want to put on the 40-man before we get to the Rule 5. This is probably not. Ziotti back on the 40. Let's hear the to go to the. Nope. Okay. Let's just get to the Rule 5 draft. Oh, Alex Verdugo signed a contract with Cubs. 6 years, $111 million. So we will get a supplemental first-round pick in the upcoming draft. So that gives us 2 first-round picks this year. So again, we get Alek Thomas for about half of what the Cubs are paying Verdugo. Fernando Tatis signed with the Rockies. He could hit 80 home runs there next year. We'll see how that goes. Anthony Rizzo signed with the Texas Rangers. All right, let's get to the Rule 5. Picking a 30th. Ooh, the Cubs had the worst record in baseball. Look at that. It's a shame I don't get the Cubs first round pick. That would be nice. All right, so let's pick until our turn. And I don't really have a need for anything, but we'll see what's available, and maybe we can find ourselves a diamond in the rough, so to speak. We're on pitching potential with all batters. That doesn't work. All right, so let's see what we're looking at here. Luis Medina's got quite a bat on him. Our scout likes him. Roberto Campos is only 21. Meh. Okay. He's okay. Obi Mayo. I like those numbers. I don't mind the lower contact because he's got the good gap power, good home run power, good discipline. Decent speed. 210 in high A ball, so that's a little concerning. 23-year-old in high A ball only hit. That's a shame. The stats were better. And that's something I'd like to try. I've never played this game stats only. It seems like it would be fun, if not really hard. You don't get any of the potential numbers. You build your team and you make all your moves strictly based on player stats, which would be a fun way to do it. That might be something I try at some point. Let's take a look at pictures. Cesar Alvarez isn't bad for a 22-year-old. Ooh. I think this is a move I make. 3 good pitches. Really, really good in high A ball last year. And stash him at the back. Yeah, we're going to stash him at the back of the bullpen this year. Cesar Alvarez. Pick. Call it a day there. Yeah. Yep, we'll call it a day there. All right, guys. So that was a short bit, but that part usually is, unless the Rule 5 is a treasure trove of riches, so to speak, and this one wasn't. We got ourselves a decent pitcher out of the deal, I think. Yeah, so I think the next step is to sim ahead to opening day. So I will, yeah, we still got a couple moves we got to make. We still got a couple spots to fill in, I think. Even if we pick up JD Martinez and stick him in as a DH, it's going to be a part-time. He's not going to be a full-time DH, I don't think. So, I'll keep an eye on the free agent market and see if one of these other names comes down to a reasonable amount, and maybe we can make a little splash. It does look like we made the right move with our ticket prices, so it looks like we're going to have some money here going forward, which is really nice. So we don't have to worry about. Although, just noticed that Gian Q has an opt out after this season, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. But that's still a ways away. So when we come back, it'll be opening day. We will set lineups, set our pitching staffs, and we'll call it an episode. So hang with me, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. It is almost opening day, and it is time to cut our roster down. But before we do that, there was another move that was made. And I decided that because we had a little bit of money to spend, that the offseason went well in terms of finances, I decided to dive into not the free agent pool a little bit, but I was willing to take on some money to improve a position. So I went and spoke to, that's not where I wanted to go. I went and spoke to the Detroit Tigers, and we have come to a trade agreement with them. And was it all the way back in December that I made that deal? Yeah. We sent Khalil Lee and a minor league outfielder to Detroit, picking up Daz Cameron. So we gave up Lee, and he was an original shrimp, and he had 3 decent seasons, but his numbers were starting to trend in the wrong direction. He's an okay outfielder. His obviously his main attribute or his main ability or is his base running and his batting eye. But even that, 54 walks, 220 strikeouts. He was good for what he was, but we had an opportunity to improve, and we did. We also gave up Josh Lassane, who 2-star, 21-year-old, who spent the last 3 years in rookie ball. And we got Daz Cameron in return. Cameron is a very, very good outfielder. So now I've got 3 really solid outfielders at all 3 positions. I'm very happy with that. Good speed and pretty good bat. His numbers were a little down last year, but the year before that, really, really well. I mean, he only hit 226 last year, but the year before that, 307, 400, 492. So I'm anticipating, somewhere in the middle there. If he ends up with around an 800 OPS, I will take it. So we made that deal. We did also sign JD Martinez, that 1-year, $3 million contract. We did sign Wilmer Flores, but I don't think he's going to make the big league roster, which means he'll end up becoming a free agent, I think, at the end of this month or the end of next month, maybe. Noelvi Marte is out for a week. And Sean Cervantes, our rookie, will start the season on the DL with a back problem, which is a shame because he's starting to come along really, really nicely. So, first things first, we have to cut our roster down to 26 players. So right now we're at 39. That's 18 pitchers. It's a lot of pitchers. So we can send Linares down, Sedlock down, Hunter Green. Cesar Alvarez was our Rule 5 guy. We got to hang on to him. Send these 3 guys down. So these guys are both going to have to be DFA'd. That's fine. All right, so we're at 15. So we got to send 3 more pitchers down. Is there anybody that was just horrific? So this guy is an interesting subject. We signed him last December from the Australian League. He had pitched the previous season in Japan. You can see he put up pretty good numbers. He'll probably start in AAA. He's got options. Alvarez we need to hang on to. So Griffin Jacks probably is out of options. Oh, he's not. Okay. So 1 more pitcher has to go down. How long is it's probably going to be Ramirez. He's been pending for a couple of days, and that's never a good sign. So we'll just hang on to that. We go, let's see. So we got to send 8 players down, 8 batters. Finkel, Muzziotti, Flores, Blade, Rizzo. I'll go down. How many of them will not be able to go down? Muzziotti and Blade. Right. Designate. Minguez will start in AAA. Ran will start in AAA. And I think I need to send one more person down. Yeah. Yeah. One more. Well, I think that one more person's probably going to be Ramirez. So let's go ahead and get up to opening day. And then we'll set everything. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Damn it. All right. He had just had a really, really nice bump in his stats, too. Look at his scouting. You can see he just had a spike in his overall and his potential. So, that's a shame. All right. All right, so let's do pitching staff first. Yeah. Bullpen. I could have just done that. All right, so 5-man rotation. And we are going to start with Braxton Garrett as our ace. And then our number 2, is it going to be Vargas or Baz? I think it's going to be Shane Baz. Then Cheesy will be our number 3. Vargas will be our number 4. For the time being, we go Wentz or Henkin. I think we go Henkis. And then once we get Cervantes back, he'll go in as the 5. So we got Kozowski as our closer. Yap as setup number 1. Garcia as setup number 2. No. Yeah. Onine is middle relief. Use more often. Josiah Gray, middle relief. Joey Wentz, long relief. And Alvarez, emergency. Avoid high leverage. Yeah, that works. Hopefully he can develop a little bit. His numbers, if he can come along as a starter, that's really nice. So, all right. So that is our pitching rotation. Yeah, we've got 5 or 6 weeks before Cervantes comes back, so that should be a good audition for everybody. We go to lineups. Clear everything. Alrighty, let's set our lineups. So leading off will be Mr. Q. He started to regress a little bit, and that's concerning. But we'll see how the beginning of the season goes. Hopefully it's just a beginning of the season thing and not a... Excuse me, just gotta shift my position here. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. So Q's going to lead off. Who's our new number 2 now that... I think we go... Q, Thomas, Cameron. What do we want to do with Perez? Is he our new... Yeah, I think we're going to do this instead. Darian Perez is going to bat second. Alec Thomas. Is he going to bat third? Do we go Thomas? Do we go Thomas? I think we go Perez. I think we go like that. Then... Yeah, we're still pretty left-handed heavy. I don't think we're going to do this. I think we're going to split it up a little bit by putting Cameron in here. I don't want to bat Cameron third, though. Bat Cameron fifth? There's virtually no split. He's basically the same player against lefties and righties. Just I don't like the lefty thing there. Maybe we do this. Maybe we split it up and Let's try that. Let's try Perez as our leadoff hitter. 91 I, 50 avoid Ks. It's got some power. I think we do that. I think we start Perez, and that splits it up a little bit. Then we go Naylor. Then we go Nova. Go Ornelas. And Marte's back in 5 days. That's fine. We'll just stick him in there. Is that what we want to do? Or do we want to start JD Martinez? I think we go Martinez. Take that back. We're going to go Martinez so that we can get that extra right-handed bat in the lineup. Can do this. That makes our lineup a little bit deeper, I think. Generate depth charts. Make Ornelas the backup DH as well, and we're going to let him play. Where is he? Right there. We'll have him start every 4th game against lefties. That gets him into a couple of games, or against righties. That gives him a couple of games a week. This is going to go to every 3rd game. Oh, I didn't realize that chewing ice was going to be that loud. I'm going to have to edit that out. All right, and let's go. All right, so yeah, make Tisor Ornelas the backup outfielder. Basically back up all the outfield positions. That works. So let's copy the lineup. Paste. JD. Cameron up so we can split the lefty righties up a little bit. Paste. To get Ornelas some playing time. Yeah, I mean, he's developed pretty nicely into a pretty good hitter, especially against well, I mean, I guess he's not terrible against lefties, but he's good against righties, and he's a good outfielder. So, all right, let's go to lefties. Let's paste the lineup. All right, so what changes do we want to make against lefties, if anything? I don't necessarily think we want to make any changes. Except we might want to go like that. We go like that against lefties. Get the extra left-handed bat further down the lineup against lefties. I think that makes sense because JD still rakes left-handed hitting. So having him in the 3-hole makes a lot of sense there, I think. Set that up. Garcia is going to get those games against lefties. Alice is still going to be the backup there. 10th game, every, I don't know, 9th game, and that, I think, is what we're going to do. And I'm okay with every 2nd game against lefties with Ali Sanchez there. Let's copy that. Paste. Move JD. I think we will bat Daz Cameron. 3rd against lefties, against National League teams. Depth charts again. Garcia, a little bit of playing time against lefties. Game, 12th game. And I think that's going to set our lineup. Any news that we need to look at here? Nope. Losing Ramirez stings. That stings. All right, let's play ahead to opening day. (15-15) spring, not great, but that's okay. The Yankees steamrolled 24-6 in spring training. All right, finally, we are ready to go. And all right, let's take a look. Season expectations, 500 baseball. All right, top 100 prospects. We don't have anybody. We could have drafted Brady House. We didn't. That's a little frustrating. That's okay. Let's look at preseason predictions. 88-74. Good pitching. As per usual, a ton of stolen bases. Fair amount of home runs. But our pitching staff looks like it's going to carry us again. Nobody listed here offensively. Nobody listed here pitching-wise. Okay. Alrighty. Let's look at minor league systems. Number 11. Ray, Cervantes, Castillo, Thompson, and Dominguez. All right, well, we don't have a top prospect, but we got a couple of decent ones. Ray looks like he could be pretty good when it's all said and done. Could be a trade chip since we have a ton of outfielders right now. And Cervantes is going to be a stud once he gets back out there, I think. So looking forward to him. Castillo, an 18-year-old. Got a ways to go. Thompson is a 21-year-old in short season ball. We drafted him last year, I think. Yeah, 12th pick overall. It looks pretty good. Started in rookie ball, pitched in both rookie and short season ball. Disable his promotion, and let's take control of that, and let's put him in. Let's start him in A ball. He is 21, so we don't want to have him waiting too long, but we'll see how it goes. And the other thing I'm going to keep an eye on this year, because we do have a little bit of money going into next season, something like $33 million in free agents, 24 in extensions. I can also fiddle with this, try to make a little bit more money as the season goes on. I'm going to keep an eye on the upcoming free agents. There are obviously a couple of huge names on here. And if their teams are not in it, I might try to make a move for, I don't know. Do we go after Mookie? Do we go after Luis Arraez? I mean, do we go after Yoan Moncada? Having him at third would be huge. I don't suspect the White Sox are going to be out of it. They won 100 games last year too, but there are some names here offensively and pitching wise. A lot of good relievers as per usual. A couple of good pitchers. Mitch Keller with Pittsburgh, Eduardo Rodriguez, Michael Baez with San Diego, who he's probably better off as a reliever. But that's a name I'll keep an eye on, because when you make him a reliever, his stuff jumps up to 90 or something. So keep an eye on that. We do have some money to be able to add to payroll this year if we need to. When we come back, it'll be time for the draft. So, as always, please leave a like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. And until we talk again, everybody take care. Bye-bye.